weird when there's no guests, because you don't get into the energy of starting, you know. It seems like it's just you and me, so we can make mistakes, so we make mistakes. So that's weird.
It's so true. I feel more chilled. It's like, okay, hi. Just another conversation today.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so should I clap? Okay.
Oh, we're that was not part of the conversation.
It can still be.
Yeah, okay. And that's how we're starting, or that's how we're ending. Design to Connect.
I know. So yeah, welcome to the last episode of our first season in Design to Connect. And if you already know us, you know us. If you don't know us, I'm Arazu, and that's
I'm Hadil.
Yeah.
You know what I realized? I always say it the same way, and I'm Hadil, and I have to do that.
That's you. That's how you introduce yourself. Okay. Is it cold out there? Like,
it's a little bit windy.
Okay.
And I hope it's not like, the wind isn't going through the noise. Like, if you're not hearing anything, it's good.
It comes like from time to time, but I think that's okay. It's not disturbing. I mean, I can hear your voice perfectly, but I see your notebook flying, so I can see it. Okay, so maybe for the ones who are listening to this podcast, this interesting and amazing podcast for the first time, we should say what is Design to Connect and what it is. What is it about? So Hadil, do you want to go on and say to our audience?
For sure. Well, first of all, I really hope by this time, like if they're watching episode 8, that they kind of have an idea of what Design to Connect is. But really, it's a social design platform that started with a podcast to kind of rethink and question the way that we do architecture, and that not just architecture, that we do things in life in general. And we're trying to tie it to our passion, which is architecture, so we can actually do better. And we are in the phase of basically questioning and seeking answers and some information and insights from people in the industry about some of the major problems in humanitarian architecture and mainstream architecture and the educational side of architecture, so we can, try to start finding more sustainable solutions to create a shift in our industry, which we hope for. And that's what Design to Connect is. Oh. So it's starting as a podcast, but we don't know how it's going to end.
You said it too perfectly. I could just, just sit here and listen to you talk about this.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good.
Thanks.
So today we wanted to have a more intimate, let's say, conversation. Also with you guys, with the audience, and that's why we are laughing too much. That's how our intimate conversations go most of the time. Not always laughing, actually, but yeah, let's say that. So we are gonna share our experiences about how it has been to host a podcast. It has been a first time for both of us, so it was a first time for both of us. So how it has been and what have we learned, like both personally and on a architectural level, let's say, and so what's going to happen next and what to expect, let's say. So I don't know, Hadil, should I go on? Should I go first and share the wisdom?
Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself just in case it keeps getting windy. So don't think I'm not engaging. I'll be like, oh, okay.
Oh, great. You talk very well. Yeah. And if you need to change your place, just be relaxed. I mean, in the middle, if you need to go somewhere else. So we wanted to start about talking about being introvert and hosting a podcast, because I think most of the time when you tell people like you do a podcast or you do something, I don't know, in socials, people people assume that you're extrovert and you feel very confident about it from the beginning, and like it comes super easy to you and everything. So we decided to start with talking about and like saying that we are both introverts, and this hasn't been always very easy for us. But in the same time, like, yeah, we are introverts, but at the same time, we are also vocal. So we say if something is wrong. Not that being introvert and being vocal don't go together, but yeah, just to clarify. So yeah, so we wanted to tell you that yeah, it has been difficult, and in the beginning, we were not confident, and it still is weird. I mean, whenever I edit the videos and I hear my voice, I just want to shout, so I can't. So I stop hearing my voice because it's still awkward. But yeah, I think every time though, it just takes that first step to start anything, and you keep learning. And I understood that I should focus more on learning from the guests instead of like just focusing so much on if I'm sounding smart or sophisticated. So if I focus on what I can learn, it's better for me, and I don't feel shitty about myself. Also, sorry for saying a bad word after the podcast. So that's the main thing, and then you just try to become better every time, but yeah, without expecting too much also from yourself. So yeah, that's from my part. So Hadil, I don't know if you want to add something to.
I think you said it very beautifully. And I think there's also a misconception about, like introverts not being confident, or there's like this, I'm sure there's some introverts that might not have that confidence in them. Or like the shyness rather. I don't think I meant to say confidence. I think I meant to say shyness. Like you can be reserved, but that doesn't mean that you have to be, like shy. It's just like we need to separate what the difference between being shy and reserved is. And to me, this experience taught me a lot about myself, because I did realize that I don't have to excel in one thing for me to move to another thing. It's work in progress. So I can work on a couple of things because they're all going to be interrelated to one another. And I thought that I had to kind of like excel on, like I am someone that I knew that I had some self-esteem issues and self-confidence issues. So I was working on that. And I thought that, like I cannot start the podcast with such insecurities. I have to work on that first, make it sure it works out, and then I'll take that jump. And taking this being an introvert taught me that no, this journey is teaching me more about who I am. I'm learning how to be vocal in the right time. Like being quiet for so long. I've been like a very quiet kid for most of my life. I never used to learn how or know how to express my feelings or what I want. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, please, someone make me shut up. It's like, I cannot shut up anymore. So it's like finding that balance has been very interesting. And then another thing that you said is that I stop focusing so much about what am I doing wrong? Like right now, I might go back and I swear I would stay 2 hours, just be like, oh my God, how did I say this? Why did I do that? Yeah. And then I'm very self-critical about myself. And I'm like, I need to let go of that, because in return, I'm gaining so much added value and lessons that's what I need to focus on. So it's been a very, very interesting journey for sure.
That's I really liked what all you said, and it's crazy, that because like so much of our characters, the main things that are like our identities, they most of the times come from the traumas that we had on the past. Like I was telling you that me being an introvert or being vocal, they are both trauma responses for me. Like living in Iran, I'm from a religious minority, so I couldn't always share everything that was going on in my life, because I was always scared that whatever I say might be used against me in some way. So even when I was with my close friends, I couldn't always share everything about myself. So there was always this, I don't know, wall that I couldn't go, more than that. And so this continued, and I just learned to not share. And so I became a good listener, but my being good listener wasn't because that I didn't have something to say, or I didn't have the need to talk to my friends, about my life and my issues, but because I was not feeling safe, or I was feeling as if people are not interested in listening to what I say. But also my being vocal is another trauma response. Again, being a woman and being a religious minority, I understood from a very young age that if I didn't address what was going wrong with my life or with my rights were not given to me. So I always had to fight for them. And when I came here and I saw the people in my age in Italy, if something in the work environment is wrong, nobody talks about it, because let's say they have been living in a more calm environment. They've been grown in a more calmer environment, more, let's say, healthy environment than I have been. But I think that trauma now helped me to talk whenever I feel something is wrong. And so traumas always are not that bad if we use them to grow, I guess. But yeah, just something that wanted to mention of tangents. But
No,
yeah.
but I love that. Like, I love that you say that, because I don't think I don't think people understand how important it is for you to do that self-reflectory work on yourself and understand why are you the way that you are, just to be more compassionate with yourself, for you to be able to move forward with your life and do something, right? Because I like you, for the longest time I had such a trigger when I hear the word sensitive, because of how much I used to hear that word. I'm like, and or like I'm realizing that I'm a very empathetic person and I'm making peace with it. But before I never did, because anything that I used to question, or anything that I used to, and that's, it's like in a very minimal point. Like I used to, like, say that I'm bothered or something. I'm always called the very sensitive person. So that kind of made me also that quiet person, because I felt extremely unsafe to kind of share my thoughts and my feelings, especially like you said, when you're growing up in an environment that you feel like you're such an outsider, and no one feels or giving you that opportunity to truly get to know you, but rather they box you under a certain social standard or social box that we've created, and it's now I'm realizing that those things are extremely irrelevant. Like, if we can take 1 minute of our time to actually get to know one another and ask me about my experiences, learn about my character before judging me, how much time we're saving and energy for us, like to hate upon one another, or like just be judgmental and critical.
That's so true. I mean, yeah, like maybe I think when I was a kid, I also heard the word sensitive a lot, but the way that I responded to that was a bit more different from you. And now I'm learning from you how to be like kinder and more sensitive and more understanding of others. The way that I responded was that I tried to completely, detach myself from who I really was, and like create new characteristics that socially are known more masculine or more smart or driven or motivated. And that's the way that I went with it. So I realized, like, just a couple of years ago when I started therapy, how much internalized misogyny I had within myself, and how much I hated girls, and being a girl, and like whatever I tried to do, both in my education and my career, was to just go against these socially known feminine characters, and to just seem driven and smart, and so I think something that I'm learning from you is one thing, is to connect with that, even to connect with my feminine side even more, and to be grateful, to talk in a more sensitive way, in a more considerate way. And because so many times when I work, I just go task based. We have to do this, and I realize that most people don't work like that, and and it's correct, it's because I have killed a part inside myself, and that's why now I am inside the box, and I think that things should be done in certain ways. So I think that's something that I'm learning from you, and
Wow.
it's really good, you know, to have different characters and to understand, because yeah, if you don't connect with others, if you don't design to connect, if you don't connect with others, you are always in your own bubble, and you think just that only your ways of thinking and being is the correct one. But the moment that you connect, you understand the things about yourself, and you can improve yourself, and yeah, others and teams, and yeah, everything.
But you know, like I want to say something. This came with a lot of work, like a lot of work. So like, this is, I think, that to conclude it, like, we need to work on ourselves to get, like, think about the person that you want to become and who you want to be, if those traits are bothering you, and then start working on them. Because I was extremely also ashamed of my feminine side, because I felt that that's all what I was noticed for. So I felt that there's always a need for me to prove from the education, like from the educational aspect, to excel and excess. And I got to a point that right now I'm questioning, like, is this healthy? Because I feel like, you know, like, am I ever going to be satisfied with what I'm doing? Because in my mind, it's like, I always have to achieve to be noticed, because I don't want to be noticed for my looks. I don't want to be noticed for what some people say, I'm very flirtatious, but like, and my perspective, I'm just an extremely kind person. So people need to, like, you know, like, if someone says hi, that's just kindness. Like, hi. Yeah, I feel like that should be another episode. But you taught me how to take risks. That, for me, I've never seen that side of myself. I've never seen that challenge, and like that, you know, that aspect of myself, and like, to let go. I think those, like, I feel like you balance me, like you said, when you have two different characters and how we will balance one another. It kind of grounds you, and it kind of makes you deal better with some of your faults and some of the things that you're dealing with internally. And I don't know if you notice, but a lot of times I feel like I get very heated up, and my anxiety is on the rise. So I kind of like try to, like, oh my God, like, I'm like rushing, trying to make everything work. I did a mistake. I'm like going crazy. And then you be like, Hadil, it's okay. Like, it's okay to do mistakes. So I love that, because I think, you know, like, I kind of need those kind of reminders. And also the fact that in my head, I always thought that like I said in the beginning of this conversation, that I needed to be perfect or excel in something for me in order to jump into something else. And you taught me that, you know what? No, like, it's all about experimenting. So it's okay for us to be doing a couple of things at one time, because it's like, yeah, for sure, we need to give time for something and reflect on it and see what kind of lessons we learned for us to take on to another step. But it's okay for us to be doing a couple of things at one time and exploring and experiencing, because, you know, like, you never know what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way. I feel like I am
just coming out.
I swear, tomorrow I'm going to listen to this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not making any sense.
No.
See,
I
again, self-critical.
I know. Okay. So I should now say some good things about you.
Please.
So, yeah, we were also talking about this, that, yeah, as you said, yeah, you said that I ground you, but we often talk about this, that we feel that both of us ground each other in different ways, because I feel sometimes I can be too idealistic and too philosophical, you know, in life in general. That's my way of being. Like, sometimes I feel when I talk to my friends, it's as if I come from a different planet, or yeah, I might watch a scary movie and start talking about the meaning behind that, and how the director was trying to, I don't know,
send the message.
Fears, you know, in a childhood psychological fears, and yeah, it's a movie about zombies. So yeah, I think I might sometimes get so lost in my own word and in my thoughts. And one thing that you really helped me with, especially in the world of architecture, is to remind me of what is actually happening in 95% of architectural projects, which is the mainstream industry. And because of your experience, and because you're in it every day, you bring this, let's say, more realistic approach to what we are trying to do. And I think, I mean, if it wasn't for you, I would be in my mind and I would talk in my words that might sometimes be very philosophical and very not able to connect with anyone. But I think you make me a better communicator, because you make me aware of the majority of what is existing in the world. And so that I think that's very valuable, and I'm really thankful to you for that.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I did not see that coming. Wow, I feel special now.
That's special.
I'm glad that no, I'm really glad that I bring this perspective, because I think it's okay. What, like, I think I'm the complete, I wouldn't say the complete opposite. I think just because like my experiences brought me here. But the way I envisioned humanitarian architecture, it's like, because you're on that, like you're more involved on that aspect even more. You gave me a lot to also reflect on, because what I had in my mind and my vision in my head about what like humanitarian architecture, or what is it that I want to do, and then realizing that, you know, in my head it was too idealistic. And that's why I feel now content with what I'm doing, because I do realize that I do need to learn process for us to be able, like, to process and to understand the reality of the world and how it works and how it functions, for us to be able to actually like move forward with life. But don't think that you being philosophical and deep, you know, that means you're not connecting with people, because there are people out there that are going to be able to connect with that side of you. And there are some people out there that are just exactly like you. So don't change that, because this is the worst feeling, when you feel like you have to change a part of who you are to actually be able to fit in a surrounding. You change your surroundings, you don't change yourself, right? So yes, sometimes I think what's important is to adapt to the social settings that you have to. If you feel like this is a social setting or an environment that might be adding value to you, then sure. But you know, like I at least I always try to remind myself that way. And you make me always think of things in a positive way, regardless of what the situation is, and regardless of how you would think of it, like in a deep way, or you're gonna like take it in a philosophical way. But there's always, I feel that you make me reflect on it to from a positive stance, you know. So there's a beauty that comes out of that, Arisu, honestly. So keep it, please.
Oh, let's do these episodes more often. I think we need
I just
to
keep giving comments
and listen to how great I am. No. Yeah. We. Okay. Now I need to collect my mind. But yeah, thank you for all you said. And
I think I talked more about myself than I talked about you. I don't think I said anything about
I just collected the parts that was about me, so my ego is
okay.
inflated and happy now.
Inflated? Okay, good.
So I think another point that we wanted to talk about is the idea of it being generalist. Yeah, I think that was something that I brought up to you a while ago, and you had a really interesting reflection that you said maybe we are generalists because from a young age we had to live alone and like do everything by ourselves. So our brain works in a way that, you know, has to have everything under control. That was really interesting for me. But I think another thing that I just wanted to mention is that I think our professional world is really not welcoming to generalists, and also the architectural world. Like entering an architectural studio, you have to become an architect as identity. Like, you know, they say also this in the videos, like that those various architects, like architecture is not a job, it's a way of living. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's for you. I don't identify only as one thing, so I want to do different things, and I perform better when I do different things. But I think our industry is not very open to that. So if you're an architect, you just have to be an architect, and based on the way that the studios and offices work, you spend 11 hours a day in a studio. So you really don't have the time and capacity for anything else. So I think that could be limiting for so many people, at least people who think the same way as me, or maybe you also. And yeah, I just wanted to say it. So no,
I agree. Because I really like the more that and this is something that I loved about like our podcast, is meeting so many different characters and different personalities that might be doing the same thing. So it was like, okay, I wanted to see how every person was dealing with a certain issue. But I think, you know, like there's no such thing as right and wrong. Like we just, I think, need to acknowledge that there are people that strive and they can work under pressure. They can work when they're doing a couple of multiple things. And there are certain people that are going to excel and do they're good with just focusing on one thing. You know, we don't have to attack either or think that this is right and this is wrong. It's just really what works for us, and trying to be more vocal about it to just live happier.
Yeah, that's
and
so
like
true.
in satisfaction. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm understanding that. Sorry, go.
No, because like when you were saying, like it's when we're doing a lot of things, you know, it's at least to me, sincerely, this is what motivates me. I feel like I need to be under pressure all the time. Other people might view it that you are trying to show off, or you're trying to prove a point, or you're not gonna excel somewhere. I think.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
What?
When they say, okay, you are doing so many things, but you're not good at any of them.
Because but I think this is an old mentality, right? It's an old mentality that they think that you have to put your heart into one thing to see it nourish, right? Like it's like a family. You're gonna. But what if I don't want a family? Nobody asked me that question.
That was good.
Are we having a therapy session here?
I think so. I think we need to do this more weekly for ourselves to feel it's good. But yeah. I mean, the more that I'm growing up, I'm understanding that there is no either or kind of ways in doing things, but there are millions of ways. I mean, the number of, as we have people in the planet, the same number, there are ways of doing a job or thinking or whatever. But yeah, as you were saying before, we just want to box things, and that's something that make us not have an inclusive society, because yeah, it's either or this or that. So yeah, we just have to be open to different ways of thinking and living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would actually make us, you know, do better as architects, because at the end of the day, it's like we need to understand the people that we're designing spaces for. So once we understand that there's not only one category of people, and there isn't going to be just one solution for one thing, so it opens your mind to hopefully, you know, like let's start creating something nicer.
Yeah, that's so true. And you know, so something else that I learned, like from our guests, is that like being a good architect, I'm going to be so philosophical again about this, is mainly being a good human being. You know, just if you have worked on yourself internally before, you know, just looking for outcome, and you just come out of architecture school and you say, I have to become a star architect. Am I saying it correct? A star architect or whatever. So yeah, if we focus on the outcome, what happens in the process, yeah, will not be as inclusive, sustainable, or whatever, as if you first or during your process of being whatever, you work on yourself, because looking at the keywords that we came up from the first season, these are all, I don't know, attributes and like characters of a good human being, like these are basically, yeah. So you just have to work on yourself, and your career comes along with it. The moment that inside is okay, what you bring out in your job also is going to be different, and people are going to notice it. And
for those people, sorry.
No, that's it.
For those people that are trying or seeking to find some kind of meaning, or in the kind of the work that they do, or feel that they want to be helping, as like I'm talking from an architectural stance, we don't have to be, and this is something I sincerely learned also from our guests, is that we don't have to be on field. We don't actually have to feel that we are creating, helping out in traumatized communities or undeveloped communities for us to feel like we're contributing to the world. You can be adding meaning to the actual, even if you're working in a mainstream office, by the way that you collaborating with your teamwork, you're creating that connection for you to be working with love, or doing your project with love and like teamwork. This is actually added value to and you're doing good. And I think this is something I had to reevaluate myself, because I thought for me, being a good person or being an architect meant that I also only had to take that route of being a humanitarian architect for me to feel like I'm doing something good. And then I just reshifted the way I started thinking, because I'm like, no, I have to find good in everything I'm doing and make something good of it. Because if I am, for example, if I'm designing like a suite layout and I'm designing it with so much anger, I started thinking that, okay, like this is going to sound so stupid and philosophical and deep, but whatever, that's how I think. I'd be like, okay, like this is the energy that I'm giving into this work. And if I am designing it with like so much hate and disgust, imagine the final product. It's going to reflect, my energy is going to kind of reflect on the space, because it wasn't done with love or like with like, like passion. So am I making sense?
I completely agree. I mean, in my life, a project that I've worked with it on love, with love, I mean, I can distinguish it with a project that I work on it, like with just wanting to finish it, or because I was overworked or tired or whatever, and I just hated it. So I think the energy really reflects what has been put into a project. And I think that's something that we forgot in the modern world, we think only producing more is better, and we forgot what we are putting to each of those projects. Whereas before, if I was designing my own home, I was designing it with so much love, thinking about my family, now I'm not saying that it's wrong that an architect is designing for you, but then there is no connection with the person that I'm designing for. There is no connection between me and the materials that I'm doing. I mean, you might be an architect and you might never see a real scale material of what you're drawing in AutoCAD, so yeah, everything became so much more abstract, and we lost the connections, all the connections, so many connections.
Yeah, 100%. What was the biggest challenge that you felt you had to deal with, like right now, in this experience with Design to Connect?
Okay. I don't know. I think the first episodes I was really scared of saying stupid things, as I said before, because the focus was so much on myself and my ego of how I would look. And I'm like, you know what? You're a co-host. The important person is the guest, and what you can reach together just having a conversation. So I think, yeah, that shift maybe, I wouldn't say it was hard, but it needed some reflection. What about you?
I think the fear of sounding stupid as well. You know, I have big time imposter syndrome. So I don't feel that I'm smart in a way. But again, because maybe I like evaluate myself to other standards. So that was a huge challenge for me to put myself out there and start talking and expose, like, because I'm a very, very private person. And this is the first step that I took as I felt extremely exposed. I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I doing this? And then, yeah, for sure, this has been my biggest challenge, exposing myself and feeling like, oh my God, am I going to realize that I'm not smart?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's an interesting challenge though, for sure.
Yeah, I feel you in the feeling of being exposed. I didn't think about it to say it, but yeah, I felt the same way. And sometimes I feel like I lose so much energy just wanting to be vocal about everything or having an opinion about everything. Like sometimes I'm just tired of myself. I'm like, just shut up, just enjoy your life, you know. But yeah, I feel that exposure was.
You're gonna get to that point, trust me. You will get there.
Sometimes I try to, but yeah, I think that exposure also, yeah, takes a lot of energy, and yeah, I think we need to sometimes take space from being so much in the public or writing so much or just sharing opinions, because sometimes you just need to go inside and reflect and not talk for a while, because too much exposure takes so much energy. And yeah, I felt.
And not only that, I feel because like also society expects everything to be backed out with facts, right? Like, which is understandable. Like you need, like when you're being vocal about something and you're stating a problem or something, you need to kind of back it up with some facts. And sometimes I find it very hard because it's like, how can I just explain a gut feeling? How can I just explain that this is my interpretation of things and the way I'm seeing it? It's, you know, like, this is also a challenge. It's like, it's hard for me to kind of have tangible facts and be like, okay, like this 1, 2, 3, because it's like, it's a conclusion from so many things that I've been seeing, and it got me to that conclusion. So I think that's another challenge too, you know, like how to back things with concrete facts when you want to be vocal about something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that goes also to the idea of, you know, we want to box things and make everything understandable for us. So everything has to be data, but humans are complex. And our experiences are complex.
And we are two complex people.
So yeah, I think, yeah, we just have to be open. Yeah, go on.
I think you don't, and you can, like, you know, this is a positive thing for you. I just don't think that you give yourself enough credit on the person that you are. And this is something that I've seen you like really, really develop. And I think that episode that you did with Kevin, I don't know why I'm mentioning this right now, but I really felt the need to say it out loud. I think this should have been a proof to you that you are extremely capable of doing things, and you know, not like screwing up. Like this thought in your head is something that could be something you need to work on to let go of. That you're not gonna do a good job, or you're gonna like say something stupid. Because I really, really, for someone that's 27 and you're gonna look, I'm not much older, but because I know exactly how it feels to be the person that we are in the society that we live, and how challenging the challenges that it comes with. Think of it that I have 3 years extra on top of that. So I'm like, let go, because I like a lot of people are seeing that amazing energy that comes from you. So give yourself that credit. Really.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I just felt I needed to say, I don't know where that came from.
No, but the same goes for you. I mean, you're doing an amazing job, and I mean, with all the discomfort that you felt joining a podcast, and I remember the first time that I mentioned it to you, but you were great. You started amazing, and you're doing a great job every day, and you're improving every day. Like, really, again, I'm not very connected with my emotions, so I can't talk as beautifully as you. But you're amazing. So yeah, I just wanna thank you for.
And you taught me how to write down, by the way. This is like, I've always journaled. Like, journaling is such an important thing for me, because I never said it out loud, so I felt like on the paper. But especially when I read some of your thoughts, you taught me how to write them down, to narrow them down, because the second I do that, it's making it gives something more sense or understanding that, okay, like, I don't have to say all of that. Like, I can just narrow it down to that one paragraph, because I told you, like, if I keep talking, I will shut up. So don't ever give me something without a script. I'll just go off tangents, left, right, and center.
One paragraph.
That's it.
In life.
Exactly. And this is something now, like you, I think of, because we, like me and you, we always ask, okay, what's next with Design to Connect? Where's this journey taking us? And I don't know, Arizu, do you have an answer?
Ooh. I wanted to do drum rolls, but
okay.
So yeah, we have 2 different things coming up. One is 2 workshops that we are still planning, and the other one is season 2. So the workshop I'm going to explain, and season 2 you can explain, maybe Adil. So the workshop, we are going to have 2 workshops, one about educational system of architecture and what are the things that could improve there, and things like in that nature. And the other one would be about mainstream architecture and what could improve there. And the interesting thing about the workshop is that it will be a Zoom call between you guys and us. So we are going to talk together, and we are going to come up with some ideas based on your experiences. What was it in during architecture education that you didn't agree with? What were some good experiences, some bad experiences, and the same with the mainstream architecture. So we are going to talk about that later a bit more when we also have planned it better. But yeah, that's the idea. So that's going to be most probably in June, right? Hopefully.
Yes, correct. And we're planning to start season 2 in September. And it's basically going to be more in depth with people that are working in the educational system and more in the mainstream side of architecture, for us to start actually reflecting on some of the gaps in the curriculum, some of the experiences that some of the students or the professors might be facing, and same thing in the mainstream side, because I think the idea is for us to be, like I said, we're like, it's like you're doing research, right? And you're just gathering and collecting some information. So I think we're in that process, but more in depth with these 2 routes or 2 paths, the educational system and then the mainstream. So stay tuned for extremely exciting guest speakers from all over the world again, because I know I'm very looking forward to it. So, and if you have someone in mind that you feel like, would be a good asset to a conversation, you have a specific question, please do reach out to us.
Yeah.
We're extremely friendly.
Yes. and I just want to say this before starting the new season is that I'm excited, but I'm also scared because the guests that we had till now, they all agreed mostly on everything with what we were trying to say. So this will be exciting, but also a challenge on how we can have constructive conversations with people that might not agree with whatever we say. So so let's see.
I'm very excited for that, actually, by the way, because this is a flaw that I know I have that I need to be working on. And I'm very, very excited for that.
So let's see what's going to happen.
What's going to take us.
Yeah. So, how much did we talk? 45 minutes. We were very concise and we weren't very concise. But we were.
And I feel like the sun, like I'm sitting and I really feel like I'm high. Okay, I don't know. I just said that, but I seriously.
You're high on warmth of the sun.
Yeah, because like I haven't seen the sun in so long.
I know.
And I'm not high, by the way. Like I'm going to work. It's 8:30 a.m. just in case. but like it's okay. So yeah, I'm high on life right now.
Yeah, I feel very good, right? So let's do this more often.
We should.
Let's have ourselves as guests. So yeah, have a good day at work, Adil, and I have a meeting.
Oh, we're ending it? We're done? Okay.
I know. Aren't we? I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we are.
I think we said everything, no? Right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have my notes. I decided to go.
Here. Yeah. You went very good. Oh my God. Like, you even didn't look at your notes. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
So, bye guys.
Have a good day.
By the way.
All right. I'm off to work.
Okay. See you. I'm going to go to the next meeting. Ciao.
Good luck. Ciao.
Bye.